Good morning, YouTube. It's a great day. We're gonna have a great day. So, what's been happening on the farm? Well, for one, my battery's low. I don't know why this didn't charge. So this could be a short section of video, but I'll try to get as much as I can filmed until my battery dies. I had it charged. %25. I don't know. I had it plugged in. I guess something didn't work. So I have been doing stuff, you know, just things. One thing I got done. I got all the bats and brushes changed on the row units. These are bats and brushes. I've got new ones in there. Can't you tell? See how good they look? I also got these, well, see, this one's not put together, but I'll explain that why in a second. So these are the brushes, these are the bats, those are brand new. What you can't see very well is I put these on. These beater bars, they're called stalk eaters, I think. Just Dad has them, so we're consistent. So got all that done. That was a chore. Some rusted parts. Had to buy more parts. You know, just the normal thing. Buying more parts from John Deere. So it is all done. The only thing there's a part that was missing here. This little coupler right here was missing on this one. How I don't know. You can't get it off without doing what I've just done. And I didn't have to take this all the way out, but just had to get this bearing off. And to get that bearing off, I had to take all these gears off. And to get all that off, I had to undo this. It's a thing, but not difficult. I'm going to steal this coupler off of that extra row unit over there, see? And so I got to do everything I just did here to that to be able to put this back together. So that's one thing I've been doing. The other thing, remember that seal on the crankshaft? Yeah, it's still leaking. Nothing's changed. And I don't think I've told you this, but we're going to change it again because nobody wants a leaky crankshaft. Just think about it. So we're going to change it again. The question was like, what would we do different? Because we did everything exactly like Deere told us to, and it still leaked. Well, I went into the John Deere house and I asked him, I said, can you look up if there's any literature on this seal leaking or this engine or something that we could have been doing wrong? And he found a thing. And so as we were reading this diagnostic document, found a deal that said, make sure that the seal is, what is that seal? Take all these measurements, make sure that it is situated this way. It had some different images that we hadn't seen before. And it said on the seal, make sure you know which one's the air side and which one's the oil side. That's important to know. And they said on the outside, there should be a stamp that says outside. So we started looking, see if I can find it on this. Okay. That probably won't zoom, but right there above my thumb, printed or pressed into this seal, very, 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 very small, says outside. Well, guess which way we put the part that says outside? To the inside. Twice. Oh my goodness. I'm even telling you my mistakes. So we did that, but here's the reason. Here's where I can, you can have some sympathy for me. We put it in exactly the way we took it out. So when I saw it underneath the stripper, it looked just like this. The metal side, it looked just like that. So we thought, this looks like a factory seal. I don't think it's ever been replaced. We should just put it in exactly the way they did. That makes sense, right? But I remember Dad saying, well, I think it goes in this way first. It did actually go the way Dad thought. Just, wouldn't you put it in the way it came out? So I guess it was probably changed by the previous owner, probably at the John Deere house, and they put it in wrong. So we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna put the seal in the correct way, and hopefully it all is perfect. So that's a stinker of a deal because that's a lot of work to do that, but thankful that there was a different solution other than just trying it again and hoping it's sealed. So we're gonna put it in where this is the outside because it's printed outside. Okay, so that's fun. So Dad's coming over. I think maybe we'll work on that because we're just ready to get that done. And luckily they had not taken the tools back, so we have everything we need to do that again. And we're also experts. That sun's bright. Last thing is I bought something. So a week and a half ago, I went to South Lubbock, found a thing that I had kind of been looking for. Kind of talked to you about a little bit about getting, and well, I made a deal and feel good about it, but went to go pick it up last week with a buddy. Super thankful he came with me because we had a little bit of trouble. I'll explain that, but let me show you what it is first, if I can try to avoid the sun. Are you ready? Any guesses? Pause. Tell me what you think. Comment. Nobody comments, but maybe this is your chance to comment and say it was this. And if you're right, well then I'll just I'll give you a thumbs up. How about that? A like on your comment. That's better than nothing. So here it is. I bought another module builder. I had a red one. I really wanted a yellow one, so I bought a yellow one. There's still some red, So I bought this at a place near Lubbock. This has got a little bit of a flat tire. I'll explain that in a second. But why did I get a new module builder? Well, because I have 2 strippers now, and if we can run 2 strippers and 2 builders, we can double our productivity. That's pretty good productivity increase. The thought was a bull buggy would help and speed us up because we wouldn't have to drive to the builder, but it wouldn't double us because it just wouldn't work that way. It's just not the same. So we can be stripping 2 strippers, each have our own builder building modules, like we can roll. And so that's a great idea, except if we have auto trump on Dad's, I needed a second with auto trump so that we could run those from the stripper and really just the 2 of us could handle it. Or if we did have a third like Emily or one of the boys, they could sit in the truck and they could run both remotes from the ground. So I've been looking for one, just not in a hurry, but looking for one that had the auto trump. And actually the guy that installs the auto trump doesn't do it anymore. Which is too bad. So I thought I could buy a super cheap one and just have him come do that, but not an option. But he said, you should just try to find one that already has it, just an older one. And so he actually sent me this listing for this one. This is a KBH brand. It's from Mississippi is where they're made. And there was one at an auction locally around here a few weeks back, but it actually didn't sell and it didn't have the auto system. It had a KBH branded auto system that I've heard is kind of glitchy. But this one is really good. It's got some leaks because that's what happens with builders. There's hydraulics, but overall I think it's pretty clean. And so we went to South Lubbock to get it. My buddy's got a 1-ton pickup, and pulling it with that was really no problem. But we did have a little bit of an interesting trip. Okay, so we were outside of Post. So the place we bought it from was south of Lubbock. And so from between there, Lubbock and home, there's a town called Post. So we made it through Post, and we're trucking. We're thinking, this is going really smooth, and it really was. And I was on the phone with Dad. I called him and said, hey, we're headed back. And all of a sudden, I hear like a boom, and it's kind of rough. And I look back over our left shoulder, and I see this wheel and tire rolling through a barbed wire fence into the field next to us. I said, Dad, I gotta go. So we lost the tire, and believe it or not, the hub, the spindle, nothing was damaged. Everything was in great order. The nut was still on the end of the spindle. It was crazy. And so we needed to get some parts to fix it. What we ended up figuring out was that the nut, there's a nut, then a washer, and then the bearings. That washer had just been bent over the nut, and actually the hub and the bearings were able to just slide off because that washer wasn't holding anymore. The nut was not doing anything. The nut still stayed there. The washer was folded over the top of the nut. I wish I had that to show you. It was crazy. So we just lost it. And only thing that damaged was the tire was a little bit damaged and the rim was a little bent, so we couldn't get that to seal. But luckily we had an extra rim and we found a tire. We got a free tire, used tire from a shop out where we were at. So crazy. So that was all the deal. We just needed the bearings and stuff and the seal to put it back together. So we're outside of Post thinking, hey, great, there's an auto parts store in Post. We'll find it. No big deal. We'll be on the road. Didn't have it. He said, okay, if you go to Slayton, which is just the next town over, 15 or 20 minutes, hey, this place will have it. So I called. They have the bearings, but not the seal. Can't find the seal anywhere. So he said, well, maybe places in Lubbock. So we just keep on driving and say, we'll go to Lubbock. We'll find it there. It's a big town. Lubbock's a great agricultural town for stuff like that. Cannot find the seal anywhere. Find out it's the wrong seal number that KVH has in their manual. So that's part of the problem. Find the right number. Nobody has that number either. I'm calling all these places. You wouldn't believe how many places in Lubbock sell bearings and seals and such. And we went to all of them, and some that don't carry it. It was crazy. So I call a place and I say, hey, do you have this seal number? And he says, yeah. It says I have 9 of them. I said, we are there. Put me down for one. And it was in an old box. They don't sell that, obviously, for whatever reason. This hub is not very common, I guess, and this spindle. So, but I finally found it, and then we're leaving, and my buddy's like, there should be a nut in your parts or a washer on your parts list to kind of hold this all together. Sure enough, there was, and I was overlooking it, and so then we spent the rest of the time trying to find this nut that was like over 2 inches wide and inch to 16th inside, but it's a 1/4 inch thick. That's pretty thick. We couldn't find anything anywhere, and we've tried a lot of places. Again, I can tell you, if you go to a certain part of Lubbock, you can find all of these places that do the same thing, and you can almost just walk to any of them. And we went to every one of them, and so couldn't find the washer. Finally found a solution. Was not the exact right thing, but it ended up being perfect. Got it. Drove back to the builder, put it all together. It went together super smooth, and then it drove home just like we expected it to have done hours before. So what turned into about a 6-hour day turned into a 12, 13-hour day, but we got it here, and I'm super thankful for my friend Ricky Dale for helping me out on that, because he was very, very helpful. So this tire is flat. I aired it up one of the days, not yesterday, day before. We got it used, and obviously you can see it's got some wear, and so it has a nail in it that's causing it to go flat. So I'm gonna need to air it up and put some blocks under it. My buddy Ricky Dale also run some trucks, so he's gonna give me some pull-offs of his tires, and I'm gonna get that put on, have a better tire for both sides, because that will probably last me for a long time, as little as this will get traffic, because we were joking as we got going. It was going so easy. We said, let's just go on to South Texas. We're just going to go on, and we can just start a custom harvest business. And then literally that happened like right after we were saying that. And then after we fixed it, we said, I don't think I really want to go to South Texas anymore. I don't want to pull this for a long distance anywhere else, either one of them. But I'm glad to have them here on the farm. And I don't know if we'll run it this year or not. We'll see if I've got a spare tractor to do that, maybe. But it was a chore, but it's here, and I'm super thankful to have it. Well, I'm sorry that this video is a lot of talking, but there's a lot to catch you up on, and some kind of funny stories. But that's what's going on at Dudensing Farms right now. I'm gonna go air up that tire and try to put a block under it so it doesn't sink down, and maybe we don't lose the bead seal on that rim. And then my battery's probably going to die, and that's probably all I'll have time for. So I'll show you that, and then I will get my batteries charged. They are charged at home, my extras. I just didn't bring them because I assumed that this camera was fully charged, and it is clearly not. So thanks for watching. Keep watching, because you never know what awesome things I may show you next. If you're going to farm it.